A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
The holidays are all about sharing with family. Meals, couches, stories, grandma's secret pecan pie recipe. And now you can also share a cart with Instacart's family carts. Everyone can add what they want to one group cart from wherever they are. So you don't have to go from room to room to find out who wants cranberry sauce, or whether you should get mini marshmallows for the yams, or collecting votes for sugar cookies versus shortbread. Just share a cart. And then share the meals and the moments. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
Ask me. Ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them. We'll read them. Then we'll give you answers. You know it. I've got it. I've got the answer. The answer. You ask me. I'll tell you anything. Do you have a lower cheek pouch? A lower cheek pouch? A lower cheek pouch? Will you store your food in your lower cheek pouch? Will you store your food? We did a DNA test on Tianfu, and the instructions, like, someone's got to write this. And, like, unironically, they wrote, swab the lower cheek pouch. And I'm like, you have to know that's funny.
That's like this, or like around
Good.
the lips.
Good for a podcast.
Like around the bottom lips.
The lower cheek pouch.
But like
the pouch created where you would store nuts. Aren't cheeks amazing? It's so crazy that they expand. Because the universe was like, well, these people are going to feed their faces. They got to be able to hork down food and store it in the mouth chamber before it goes into the throat canal.
I love seeing pictures of like hamsters just full up.
I love it. It's what gets me off also. The lower cheek pouch. Where do you live in New York? Oh, lower cheek pouch. Sounds like more like a San Francisco neighborhood.
Yeah.
They have a neighbor called the Tenderloin.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's a lower cheek pouch.
You would move there.
I would live in a lower cheek pouch. LCP.
Okay.
Rep for LCP. Everything's wet and there's food everywhere.
Just like a cave.
You know what's really fun to do? If you give your dog a treat and they they run away to like squirrel it away, like they find a precious hiding place, just go up to it and like she just buried hers in a blanket and I just picked up the blanket and the treat went flying and the look on her face like, they found it! How did they find it? And then now she's just eating it like a person. Good. Store it in your lower cheek pouch. You guys, answering questions, get it cracking. Pumped to answer more of your questions.
Yeah.
Do we have any follow-ups? I always ask you that. And
we go through them in the order that we go through.
You
them.
are such like a queen of your little fiefdom. You're like, we do it my way, and we
do
never
you
answer
wanna,
your question.
Do we want to this week? You find questions and ask them.
Okay, then you pay me. Yeah, how's that feel? Pretty bad.
That's very funny.
Now that the tables have been turned
It's very funny.
inside outside.
We're going to start with an anonymous question.
Okay.
Hi, Liza and Emily. I have an issue.
Can they hear the dog munching? Listen. It'll be very faint for those of you that have bat sonar.
Yeah. I don't know if they can hear it.
Okay. Well, we'll never know.
I'll find
Until
out.
this comes out. Until 10 minutes from now when you edit it.
Hi, Liza and Emily. I have an issue I've debated about for years, and I know you will give honest advice without sugarcoating it.
Who's this person? Oh, it's anonymous. Who said that? You said that.
Secrets. Backstory. My dad died in 2012. He and my mom were married for 58 years when he passed.
Is it too much?
My mom died 5 years later. When we cleaned out their house afterward, I found a letter in my dad's workshop.
I found a whole sibling.
that I never knew.
Got a letter in my dad's workshop that caused me concern. It was from a woman asking him to meet her at a hotel to hook up. That brought
In
back
a letter?
Yeah. That brought back the memory of a time when I was in college and my mom got an anonymous letter in the mail that just said, "Your husband is having an affair."
Yeah, for sure.
She laughed it off, but after finding the letter in my dad's workshop, I wonder if he really was having an affair. If he was, I am 99% sure I know who the woman is because they worked together for years and were always very friendly. If he wasn't having an affair, I don't understand why he would have kept that letter from her to meet up.
I don't know why he would kept it
Either way. I've sat on this
Burn upon receipt.
Yeah. I've sat on this information for 3 years, but I can't let it go. The woman who I am convinced wrote the letter is still living, and I've been thinking about, seriously, about contacting her.
Oh.
Deep down, I just feel like I need to know the truth. Yeah. Should I contact her and find out if she and my dad really were having an affair? Love you guys. Truly value your opinion. Thank you for always keeping it real.
Yeah. It's been 3 years. Definitely.
Just find out.
Well, I mean, otherwise it's going to bother you that you don't know. The truth is, you're still going to love your dad. He was still your dad. Like, even if he's a womanizer, or maybe your mom and dad had an arrangement. You know, you'll never know, but I think it's killing you that you don't know. The question is, will this lady want to say anything? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a hoe.
Why did he keep that letter if he was having an affair?
He's sentimental. Maybe, or, maybe that's the true love of it. It's whatever. You won't know the other side till you ask this lady. And it's weird that you know her, but this sounds very much like your dad had an affair with a woman. I think you'll feel better once you know. Then you can begin to make your peace with it and write the version that you want. But the truth is, you weren't sleeping with your dad. Go with me on this. He's still your dad. He still did dad things. And don't forget, people are just people and they fuck up and they do weird things and everybody's got their secrets. So you can still love your dad. And I think you'll feel better if you know.
Yeah.
You go over there and be like, Sylvia, get out here. I'm going to fight you. Or offer, be like, would you like to hook up with me?
Well, so they were married for 58 years. How old do you think this woman is that she's going to go talk
Everybody's
to?
very old. And this affair's been going on. You might find out that they've had the affair the entire time. But, people can hold two ideas in their head. You can love your mom and still cheat on her. Also, different generation. Also, are you Italian? Look into that. Next question.
Are you Italian?
It's just different views.
All right. Hi, Iliza.
There's that whole Madonna whore complex thing. So,
With Italian?
Yeah, you watch Goodfellas. It's I can't do the stuff I want to do to I can't do the stuff to her that I do to my wife. She feeds my kids.
You're just thinking of Goodfellas.
Which you haven't seen.
I have seen it.
Oh, my God.
You've accused me of not seeing Goodfellas
Quote it.
6
Quote
times. I'm Angela Rizzoli, and I'm in Goodfellas too. My name's Lorraine Bracco, and I'm the pretty one.
Lorraine Bracco, you're just
I'm sweaty in my kitchen. I'm running around. They're coming for me.
They were gonna find it. No one who's listening to this podcast cares about my Goodfellas info.
You did. I mean, it's your favorite movie.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie. Go get your shine box and answer my next question.
Hey, Iliza, Chanfu and the AIA gang. Huge fan. Shrimp.
She mentioned the dog and not you.
I'm part of the gang.
Yeah, we're in a gang.
Me and Scott are in a gang.
Snack gang. We roll up on Taco Bell, we pay for our order, and then we drive off a little fast. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. I know being thankful is on everyone's minds, and with thankfulness comes gratitude, a concept that honestly really bothers me. I'm tired of thanking everyone else. You know who deserves a thank you? Me. You deserve a thank you. When's the last time you thanked yourself? Sometimes it's hard to remind ourselves that we are doing the absolute best we can. So here I am reminding you to send some thanks to the people in your life, but mostly send some thanks to yourself. And a great way to do that is with therapy. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and it's suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time, no additional charge. You don't have to travel anywhere. They take the hassle out of finding that perfect therapist. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Iliza today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Iliza. Fall has fallen. Winter is on its way. The days are shorter. But just because, well, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet. That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Iliza50 and use code Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Iliza50 at factormeals.com/Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling, and nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way, you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Iliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Iliza for 25% off. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
I'm co-writing a cookbook with my mentor, and she's so much more experienced in our field. I just graduated in November and is amazing. But the design aspect of the book was left to me, since in my previous life, I was in marketing and know all the software and have made things look very good for a very long time. Anyway, she started making suggestions about the design and having me change so much of it. And honestly, it looks ridiculous now. So ridiculous that I don't want to put my name on it. But I've worked so hard. I did all the photography myself, all the writing and design. She contributed some recipes and a few blurbs throughout the book. But other than that, it's all me. And now it's starting to look so horrible due to her input and changes. Many of my friends, some of whom are still in marketing and design, agree that her new suggestions are horrendous. I've talked her out of using many different bold and punchy colors, as she wanted to use like 8 rainbow colors. I was originally fine with the whole thing in sage and dusty rose. And I said we need to stick to 2 colors, 3 max, for continuity and professionalism. And she agreed, but she still wants them to be preschool colors. Anyway, she brings a larger social media following, connections in the industry, and will be selling the book at her clinic, while I feel like I have nothing to offer.
Sorry, my husband's blending something in the kitchen and we can hear it.
Well, I'm making salsa during my podcast. Speaking of cookbooks, that's what he's doing in there.
Yeah, it is what
you
he's
don't
doing.
see me changing his colors from dusty rose to tender cheek pouch.
Well, I feel like I'm at the mercy of how she wants this thing to come out. I'm so discouraged, and when I find polite ways to move away from her suggestions, she insists that I just try it while we're both looking at it live, and then says it's perfect when it looks like an insane circus poster. Oh, this is my first big project in my new career path, and a crazy, excellent opportunity, if done correctly, that my peers don't have the privilege of getting because she mentored me when I was in college. Now she wants to keep working with me because she thinks I'm really great. That's in quotes. This person didn't say it about themselves. When I showed her the initial design, she loved it, and I kept working on it that way for weeks. But recently, her husband/editor, even though he doesn't do it for a living, is helping her, and these changes are the result. How do I keep this amazing opportunity while still getting the point across that her new design suggestions are absolute dog water, all caps? I was so excited about this book and am now super discouraged.
Totally.
Any advice would be so helpful.
You know, there's this tough thing, and this reminds me of like when you take network notes when you're writing a pilot.
the carrot, the dangling carrot of like, if I could just get this on the air, and then it gets noted to death. And by the end, you're like, what are we even making? There's value to sticking to your guns. And there's value in you knowing, like, I'm good at what I do. I'm assuming you're good at what you do. I don't know. You could be terrible. But there's value in seeing your vision through. And I think you should be okay with walking away. I hate to say that because you don't want to put something out there that's terrible. You know, we watch movies and the movie may be bad and it may not be the actor. It might be bad writing. It might be bad direction, but someone's going to bear the brunt of that. So if it really is that bad, I think you need to sit down and you have to say to her, hey, we're doing this together. You're saying she only wrote a few recipes. But so did she really write it? Or like, did she contribute that all the recipes and all the
Sounds like she just contributed little bits. It sounds like it's mostly this person's project, but this woman who's their mentor.
Are you beholden to her? Like, do you have to do what she says? You can just say to her, hi, I'm really excited to do this. I go to you for expertise on cooking and recipes and recipe writing and all this stuff, but this is my area. I know I'm in the industry. I know what will look good. I worked very hard and it takes a lot of time and money to do these things. So maybe it's, like I'm working with a designer now and she has X amount of weeks to produce something. And we agreed on a plan. And the other day I sent her some wallpaper. I was like, what about this? She goes, let's stick with the original plan. And that's not about her not wanting to collaborate. That's her saying, I've been doing work based off this plan. Yeah. And that's time and money and hours. And so if you want me to come up with something else, you're going to have to pay me.
Yeah.
So I think you stand strong in your value as the artist that you are and you lay it out. You'll be like, this is where we can compromise on little things, but overall, this is what we agreed to. This is what sells in the market and this is what you hired me for. And it sounds like she didn't. It sounds like she doesn't really respect you because she's your mentor and she's not allowing you. Maybe you're unproven,
I wonder it seems like a lot of the problems that this woman was fine with our question asker's design until her husband got involved. So I wonder if.
Or it's also the husband or they have terrible taste together.
But so since now there's that party coming in, can our question asker be like, well, 5 of my design friends all say it should be this
never
way.
Cite your friends. Nobody cares about your friends. But what I would do is pull from other examples in the industry. Okay. Here are the top 5 cookbooks that sell. Note the design. Here's what doesn't work and here's why, Yeah. And if you really don't want your name on it, you have to be okay with walking away. This happens. People have creative differences. I've worked on scripts before where it's like, I'm just not seeing it that way.
Well, it seems like this person's name will still be on it and the mentor, the one with the pull, the one with the following will not be. So the book will happen, but potentially to a smaller audience, which I think is preferable, honestly.
You don't want to put a piece of shit out there, and maybe it's for the best if it's going to look shitty that less people see it. I always believe in betting on yourself and you be as professional as possible. And I think maybe we're vilifying her a little too much and maybe try to sit down and be like, here's what I think. If she can't get past that, I think you have to be okay with moving on. And you have to also be okay with betting on yourself. Like you will get there one day. And you also don't do the same things that she does. Maybe there's someone else you can link up with. You got to kiss a lot of frogs. I meet with a lot of writers and it's like, oh, this writer has all these great credits. That would be great. And then they're horrible on a call. And you're like, I don't want to work with this person. You have to be okay with saying no. You have to be okay with that. You'll be okay whether you do this book or not. You're here to do good work. And that's what you're doing. It's not like millions of dollars are at stake. So even if you make a turd, you're still going to get paid and it doesn't matter. The stakes are too low, which makes them at the same time too high morally to give this up. That's what I believe. State your case. Why you believe these things and how this is a partnership and you need to do it your way in order to serve her the best. And bring examples. And if she can't see it, then whatever. There's other mom bloggers who make vegan cupcakes out there. You can find another one. Kick it. Oh, you ate the whole tree.
Hey, Iliza.
Angel.
Huge. How'd she eat that whole thing? She's so small.
She's got really sharp teeth.
Oh, boy. Iliza's a huge fan. I've seen you 4 times and I have tickets for Portland.
Yes.
I'm a 48-year-old female and have been with my BF for 5 years. We've both been in the military for 25 plus years and have plans to retire soon.
Yeah, I would hope so. That's a lot.
My retirement goal is to open an animal sanctuary.
Yes.
My boyfriend is a city guy and would like to stay living in the city. He's a bored/online gamer and doesn't enjoy the outdoors. He doesn't go hiking or camping with me, which
he's
is
in the
fine.
Maybe he just like does the tech side.
Yeah, which is
Maybe
fine.
he's like military, but like really works in radio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is fine, as that's our time to enjoy our hobby separately, as I'm not a gamer either. We have many things we enjoy doing together. We love each other very much and don't have any relationship issues outside of this. I've always been the one to compromise in my past relationships, and this has been a lifelong dream for me, something I don't want to give up. My question is, should I continue our wonderful relationship and see where we end up, compromise because that's the only issue we have, or ask him to compromise for my dreams? Thank you. Open your animal sanctuary. He can come visit or he can
He's
not.
fine.
Like,
by the way, he can online game quietly indoors from an animal sanctuary. The city has nothing to do with it. He's indoors. What do you care where those indoors are? I can go to a beautiful ski lodge and I can still enjoy it while sitting in the lodge. I don't have to go skiing. I won't go skiing. Only après ski for me. You need to feel fulfilled. And if he's more important to you, then that's fine. But if this is something you've thought about forever, you'll be kicking yourself, if you don't do this. So look into it. Also, you might look into it and be like, wow, this makes no money. It's very expensive. Animals eat each other, and this is very hard. So why not ask him to come? What's the big deal? I bet you he's cool with it. And also, like, if you live in Portland, there's a rural area not far away. So maybe it's an office. Maybe there's so many ways around it. The answer is go for your dreams. And if he loves you, he'll support you.
Yeah.
He can play Halo
inside at the animal sanctuary while bottle feeding.
Inside, outside, anywhere.
A kitten.
That's it. You knew that answer, though.
Yeah.
At ease.
Anonymous. I am 36, female. And about 4 years ago, I finally got answers in regards to my health.
Answers.
I was having awful symptoms that I was documenting
Epstein-Barr
on a health app and would, over the course of 2 years, bring this info to my doctor and ask for help.
Turns out it was the Uber Eats app. I made a mistake.
Been
filling out this Domino's app every day with my heart condition, my blood type.
Over and over, I was
Make me a blood pizza.
Ew. Over and over, I was given subpar care, the brush off, made to feel like an idiot. Finally, one day I went to the emergency room and lucked out and got a female doctor who took me seriously, looked at my body, and discovered I had a cervical polyp. Long story short, God, what is happening?
Having a brain polyp?
Long story short, I had it removed and there were cancer cells. I'm fine now, but I still feel rage towards doctors who ignored me, one of whom has property a kilometer down the road from my mom's house. I see her walking all the time when I visit, and I just want to pull over and tell her how much harm she did to me by treating me like an idiot. She told me to lose 10 pounds and the issues would resolve. I want her to know she could have killed me. My persistence was the only thing that got me the right treatment, that 5 other doctors passed off as a dumb woman who doesn't know her own body.
What? Who says lose 10 pounds? Are you a pageant queen? If she said lose 100 pounds, I'd be like, okay, that's a health thing. 10 pounds. I lose and gain 10 pounds every week.
Yeah. So 5 different doctors were just like, meh.
I wonder, I think you need to remove, I have anger toward our healthcare system in general. It's something that we fight to keep, even though it's trash. I wonder what types of doctors you were seeing, because as I've discovered, it's a specialist that has to look for special things. And maybe that's something, there's so many things that could be wrong with you. I was actually, it's funny you write this in. I was thinking about this last night, like all the blood work and things that I had done, because I was like, well, it's got to be something. I'm super healthy. Otherwise, like, why do I feel this or this? And, doctors are doing their best guess. And not every doctor is a specialist. They're also seeing so many patients. And the God's honest truth is you do have to be your own advocate. That woman, I mean, blaming her. But the fact is, you didn't give up. And you did find out. And the universe had your back. Like, you got it in time.
Yeah.
Everybody has cancer in them, whether it's active or not. But, like, you all have, like, the potential to have cancer. I think you need to find a way to move on from this. And it's a great lesson. And, maybe you're learning this lesson now for something later, good or bad, maybe it's advocating for someone else or yourself in the future. It's good that you learn this now.
Yeah.
You don't have to hang out with that doctor. Ask that doctor and she'll just be like, you were in for a routine checkup. That's not something we check for, which is garbage, but that's not her fault.
Well, so this person came to the doctor with, here are notes I have made about my health. Here's what's happening. And she was like, lose 10 pounds.
The 10 pounds thing is very odd to me, but also, you know, I don't know what your notes, I'm just being like, not devil's advocate, but just trying to be nonpartisan. I don't know what your notes sounded like.
Do you want to see my notes?
No, I do not want to see your notes about you or your cat. And I'm good. See, this is insane. If you came to me with this replete a stock of notes, get out of here. Don't show that to anyone. That's a novel about your cat.
Correct.
So if you come in with that, first of all, no doctor wants to read that. The odds of you being able, it's not about you being like a silly woman, but being able to track exactly, you know, you could be like, and then I had a hiccup, and then I had a cough, and then I had pelvic pain. It's like, cool, those all sound like gas. This doctor is in the X amount of time for the crap insurance they're getting paid, hoping to diagnose whatever it is. And usually most people are fine. So, you know, you could also book another appointment with her. And you're going to get written off. People get written off. People come into the ER all the time, complain. One guy, my mom tells me the story of this guy that thought he was having a heart attack. Doctors cut him open, opened him up, and it was gas. It's all just a guess. And when you realize how much of a guess a lot of doctors are taking, I get a lot of doctors are listening. We're not talking about like an oncologist, like diagnosing a tumor. We're talking, you come in, you're like, I don't feel well. She probably made her best guess. That's what it is. You got to find a way to move on from this because you're going to make yourself sick being angry about it. Thank God you learned that lesson. I'm grateful I learned that lesson.
Yeah.
That's it. Depends on how specific if you're like, I'm bleeding. Even if you're bleeding, it's like, well, that could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if at any point they were like, yeah, we could test for this, this, and this. And you were just like, no, I'm good. I don't know. But what you need to focus on is just moving on.
Yeah.
And
stick with the doctor that knows you.
You know what? And you're probably white. Try being black. They double don't listen to black women.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm not shaming you. Thanks. Use your privilege. But it's true. We just tend to not listen. And odds of your patient being a psychopath like this woman sitting in front of me with the cat notes are 100%. So. It sucks. I get it. I'm just trying to offer you some sort of silver lining, which is you found out how to be your own advocate and you didn't give up. And thank God you had the money / insurance to do so.
Yeah. Anonymous, dear Iliza and gang. First off, I went to your live shows.
Wait, hold on.
You want to go capture
I want to capture a little bit of the... Guys, get ready for this dog ASMR. Ready? Ew, it dyed her paw red.
Ew.
Gross, Tiana. Gross. I'm going to lick that paw later. I'm going to lick it clean. Teeny.
Dear Iliza and gang, first off, I went to your live shows, Confirmed Kills in Los Angeles, where I met you in Special Land backstage, and the Nashville Netflix taping. I also had tickets to see you in Denver last March, 2 days before the U.S. shut down.
Oh, it was such a hard call to make.
It was. I remember where we were when we made it. I think it was raining. Excited to see you.
You remember us both topless, don't you?
Oh, no, because we were at your hair cutter.
My hair cutter.
Yeah.
Totally normal way to describe it. My hair cutter.
Your hair cutter. Excited to see you live again. Thanks for being awesome.
No problem, you guys.
I'm a 25-year-old woman living in Nashville to pursue my dream of being a singer-songwriter. I had a serious college boyfriend that I broke up with the year after I graduated because I realized he had no intention of moving to Nashville, even though that had been my explicit plan the entire time we dated. Fast forward to now. I'm currently in a long-distance relationship with my brother's best friend, who I met at my brother's wedding in India. In the beginning of our relationship, I called it off because I wasn't over my college boyfriend, and a few months later, I saw him again and realized I really wanted to be with him. He's 29, an electrical engineer, and lives in Colorado.
Steady job, union, healthcare, benefits. Oh.
The only reason I jumped into the relationship and thought it would work was because he said he would move to Nashville. I thought as soon as I was ready, we'd pull the trigger. In the meantime, we see each other an average 1 week per month in person. He lived in Nashville last year for 2 months to get a feel for it and says he really doesn't like the city.
There you go.
Now that COVID has hit, my music career feels stalled out, and he's wondering why I really need to be in Nashville / if I'd be open to moving elsewhere. I said no. I was mentally prepared to break up because there is no future for us if he doesn't want to move there. Then last week, he said he didn't want to regret not trying and need some adventure, so he'll make the move at the end of August when the lease is up. Finally,
August?
My question.
August?
Oh,
what?
Do I tell him?
That's so far away. COVID will be like not even around anymore, hopefully. August?
Okay.
Lease out that turd hole and get to Nashville.
Do I tell him yes, make the move, or should we break up before then? On the one hand, him moving here was the whole point of this relationship and we'd regret not trying. On the other hand, I definitely don't want to move in with someone I don't plan on marrying soon. And at this point, I feel like I should be more excited to marry him if that was in our future.
I don't know.
To be clear, he's not at all bringing up marriage, but it's something I constantly think about. Am I wasting his time if he quits his job and moves here and I don't feel like I want to marry him, or should we try it out and see what happens?
What are you doing?
They've been dating for 1.5 years.
What are you doing? What are you doing? There's so many guys in Nashville. What are you doing? Like, this guy might be super hot and gets you and whatever. He already moved there, said he didn't like it. The whole idea was he was going to move there. Personally, if your music career is stalled out, it's part of me is like, why don't you just move to Colorado for a little bit, see how you like it? But that's kind of like a nail in your coffin of your career because no one's like getting their music career going from Colorado. I would take a break. I just would. I'm sorry. I know I'm always the first to be like, fuck it, forget it, whatever. You're tying yourself to this. Like, there's so many conditions that have to be met for this to work. Like, what are you doing? You're 25 in one of the most immigrated cities too in the country. So many people are moving there. So many people live there. You've got your goals. What are you like? Move on. August? That is so far away. So what are you going to do? Like, eke out seeing each other and not really talking about marriage? You want a music career, you want to be married. These are two things that you're putting on hold because you're with someone that like kind of checks the box. Girls, why do we do this? There are plenty of men to fertilize your eggs, and I promise you, you will fall in love. Doesn't even sound like you're that in love. You will fall in love with someone else. That is my pitch. It's not like his lease is up tomorrow. If he really loved you, he would find someone to take over that lease. Who cares? What are you doing? Move on. That's what I say. That's what I say. God, I get older with that's what I say. Judge Judy, gavel. So many hot dudes in Nashville. I saw so many when I go drinking there, so many dudes.
Is there even liquid in there, or are you just making sounds?
Get a hobby. I'm just getting a fucking hobby, Emily. It's the bottom of my oat milk, and it gets granular for some reason. Because it's not a real substitute for milk, but I try. Because milk makes my nose runny.
Hi, Iliza. I have a question for you.
Like Tennessee has no electrical engineers, although I don't think it's the job that you're attracted to. This guy's not ticking enough boxes. End of story. Presto changeo.
A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. Like I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Iliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Iliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Iliza.
Hi, Iliza. I have a question for you, and it's about breaking up with a friend. I'm 24 and part of a friend group of hometown gals. We've been friends since our early teenage years.
You know what my answer is going to be.
Chat in the group chat every day. Always there for each other. I studied abroad in London for about 3 years. They visited me multiple times.
Was that a massive cultural shift?
My one friend, let's call her Gemma, was a great friend, but problematic. She's one of those girls that never left home, just wanted to meet a boy, have fun within the confines of New Jersey, and that's okay.
That's okay.
But all these things have made her kind of ignorant. She doesn't give a fuck about BLM, thinks it's quirky that she cheats on her boyfriend, and just can't seem to grow up. But she was a great friend and always picks up the phone when I need her. Then when COVID started, she decided to host a beer Olympic for her birthday. I told her my boyfriend and I could come, but the week before I came home to the city and realized, 1, she invited 15 people, and 2, my parents were very uncomfortable about COVID, rightfully so, and probably would not want me going to the party.
Gemma.
Keep in mind this was in June when we were just coming out of a serious lockdown. So knowing that a huge part of all she cares about is partying, I gently asked her what safety precautions she was taking. The story's already too long, so let me cut it short.
Me right in the tit.
She basically freaks out, saying I'm a shitty friend for potentially bailing, and saying if I wasn't going to come, I shouldn't have RSVP'd because she'd made signs.
She already bought all the Michelob Ultra.
She made signs.
She made signs.
She proceeded
That's
to tell me.
the girliest answer. I bought markers
I
and poster board, and I made fucking signs.
She proceeded to tell me I'm a grown woman who doesn't have to listen to her parents. LOL. Failing to understand I live at home and love my parents, which is why I'm not putting them at risk.
By parents, does she mean science?
Ultimately, she made it about her. We ended up screaming at each other with her in tears about how all she wanted to do was hang out with me and that she's allowed to be upset.
Oh, God.
The whole incident revealed to me our priorities aren't aligned, something I'd been trying to ignore for years. This was months ago. Cut her off. She never said sorry, but just reached out and said
she was licking the carpet.
Oh.
Carpet licker.
And said we should forget the incident because we're best friends.
Oh, no.
She's so irrational.
You're all she has.
Right. I didn't feel like explaining at the time why we just aren't on the same page. It's not just about COVID, but our priorities overall. Now she reaches out all the time, and it's caused a separation between me and the other girls. So she reaches out with no apology, just wants to make up. I always fend her off, but it makes me sad. Did I make a mistake? Everyone in my life tells me she was terrible and selfish. But am I holding people in my life to too high of a standard? I've lost a friend who I used to confide in, and now it seems as if I'm losing the whole friend group because I live in a different city. And it looks like I'm being a bitch with her, begging me for friendship every few weeks. With no apology or reference to the incident, what do I do? I'm just sad because these were my girls. I guess ultimately my question is, when do you forgive a friend or when do you have to move on?
It's not, here's the thing.
On.
Yeah, for sure, move on. But it's also, you're not forgiving her because of something specific to you. You're growing. I think you live in New York City. I don't know. You're growing and you're evolving, and only women are made to apologize for that kind of thing. That's actually not true. I take that back. Rappers too. But she probably deep down sees you as like her only tie to like a normal person, and her life's kind of a mess, and she probably like looks up to you. She's not a bad person, but you know, while I doubt BLM like makes your world go round, what you're talking about is progressive views and important social touchstones and cultural touchstones that she's not a part of. And you probably feel a little stifled when you're with her because it's like back in high school. This is the age where we all start you're 25, where we start going in our own directions. It's kind of what I always say. It's not like the most upfront thing, but just like, you're just going to be less available, you know? Or you could try to civilize her, be like, hey, I'm going to a BLM symposium, you know, or whatever. But maybe try to bring her in. But if she's really just not getting it, it's okay to have friends that you only get your nails done with and you only do X, Y, and Z with. But it just sounds, it will naturally take its course. And I think you don't need an apology from her, but what you're looking for is an acknowledgement. What you'd hope for is that she'd be like, yeah, I care about social things too. I think you don't have to do anything.
No, I mean, this person
just keep kind of growing and putting it off, and you have to be okay with the fact that some friends serve purposes in your life, kind of like boyfriends, and then you keep moving on and you find your group and you evolve. You're growing, and this is part of those growing pains, baby.
The question asker is the one that like moved away. And so these other people are still in the same town. And
you got to be okay with answering less. And, you know, you're never going to say to her, Gemma, I think you're uncivilized and a total Luddite, you know, because of course she has some, you know, positive things. The fact that she cheats on her boyfriend's quirky, these are all like deeply personal flaws and there's something else going on there.
Yeah.
But it's not on you.
Yeah.
And especially the COVID thing, that could be your excuse. Like, it is a little unforgivable to contribute to that.
Yeah.
You don't have to give an answer or anything. Just be like, I'm just busy. you know, you don't want to reckon with her. You don't want to tell her all the things that are wrong with her. You're just evolving and you need to be okay with that.
Hey, Eliza and Emily.
Whoa. That was so loud. People
Greetings.
are driving, Emily.
Greetings from Berlin. I am a 29-year-old woman, and I married my boyfriend of 6 years a few months ago.
Guten Tag.
I like cooking and have always been the one to make dinner. But as I've advanced in my career, I've had to work longer hours. My husband is usually done before me, but will just wait for me to cook. This got to be too much, and I asked if he could take over 50% of the time. He said he wasn't willing to because I, quote, always complain about the food he makes. Not true. He cooks well, and I've complimented him before, but if something isn't good, I'll tell him, which he also does to me. I told him if he isn't willing, I'd prefer that we each cook for ourselves. This way I'd have leftovers / have to cook less often, and he wouldn't have to deal with my complaining. He lost it and said this isn't what marriage is supposed to be about.
True.
For the past few days, he's given me the silent treatment. Am I in the wrong for suggesting
Are you married to a woman?
we handle our own dinners? And how do we resolve this fight?
Okay, first of all, he's not wrong. Like, marriage is not this like separate but equal like existence, and no one like he's not wrong about
But he's
that
not-
part. Yeah. It sounds like homeboy doesn't want to cook. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, he's like, you cook for me, and I'm not cooking for myself. Like, God.
You got to get that conversation to a place where you're like, because I say this to my own husband, who is a brilliant chef. Every once in a very, very, very great while, he'll make something that I'm not a huge fan of. And, you know, he'll get kind of sad, but I'm like, it has to be okay for me to say that to you. And you have to, we always as humans focus on, even as comics, you know, thousands of people are laughing. One guy in front's not because there's something wrong with him. And you're like, that's what you focus on. So I think you need to get it to a neutral place and just be like, I need help. I cannot cook every night. I would love for you to cook. If you make something, like, let's talk about what you're going to cook. And it's okay for me to be like, oh, I didn't love this or whatever, but we can find ways around it. Also, if he's cooking, maybe you make a salad. Maybe you can eat that. Like, I doubt it's, I think you hurt his ego.
But if he's refusing to cook, I think she's within her rights to just cook for herself and save the leftovers.
Put it back on him. Be like, do you think of me as just some housewife and that's my job? I think you should, you know, be like, what do you expect me to do? And he'll be like, well, you don't like what I cook. Be like, I do like what you cook. I don't know where you're getting that. Give me an example. He'll be like, one time. You're like, that's one time. Be like, can you help me? We need help. You want to talk about what husbands and wives are supposed to do, what a marriage is? It's helping each other. I need help. Say this all in German, so it's much more forceful. Do you have a cut on your nose? It's like red here.
Yeah, I do. From my
From your
glasses.
glasses?
Well, no, I got a cut and then my glasses made it mad.
Get contacts. Do you have new glasses?
No.
Don't they used to have like red on the side? Didn't you have like Anne Klein? Who's Anne Klein? Ann Taylor?
I've had red glasses in the past years ago, and I have red sunglasses.
Okay. Whatever. I'm not supposed to stare at my employees. It's illegal.
Nobody said you were.
It's illegal.
Hi, Liza and Emily. I'm a 28-year-old female living with my boyfriend of 2.5 years who is also 28.
Double 28.
This
28
is-
plus 28 is 46. 56. Whoops a daisy.
This is the most comfortable and fun I've ever felt in my life, and it's also my first relationship. We met on Bumble under mutual agreement to express interest and not take shit.
Wait, is that a tab on Bumble? Like, click here if you want to express mutual interest and not take shit.
Our communication has always been crystal clear, which I love, but sometimes it hurts.
Oh.
Lately, my sex drive has been higher than his due to stress and IBS discomfort.
What? Wait, hold on.
He has.
Hold on. You have IBS.
No,
so you're
he
rootin' and
does.
tootin', and you're stressed, and you're like, I gotta fuck.
No,
I gotta
he
fuck,
has
fuck my way out of this paper bag. He has IBS.
He's so embarrassed, and all I want to do is remind him I'm attracted to him and that our sex life is fun. We're both
Even if it isn't.
We're
No one's
both-
having fun.
We're both in therapy for perfectionistic tendencies, but I wonder if you have any tips for dealing with a sexual letdown as a female in a committed relationship. Any help or tough love would be great. Thank you for being you. I literally tell my sister about every episode, and we update each other with our daily top and bottoms of the cob.
So he's got like diarrhea all the time and doesn't feel attractive. And
I mean-
feels really bad about himself. And you're like, no, I still think you're so hot.
Yeah.
Like, basically, the roles are reversed.
Right.
You're
which
the
is why-
dude. And you're like, I just think you're so hot, baby. And she's like, I'm fat, I'm gross. And you're like, I don't see it. That's tough because like the way you see yourself is all that matters. And he's just feeling so bad. And it like almost doesn't matter. It's like with any guy in a relationship, it's like I tell my girl she's beautiful and she still thinks she's a sea hag. So that's tough. And it's like, you probably like go to have sex with him and he's like, oh, and he feels bad because nobody wants to be like farting and diarrheaing. It's an adverb. Can you like write him a letter about like all the things you think are attractive about him? All you can do is continue. What's going to happen is this, unfortunately, if he keeps feeling bad about himself and he keeps feeling unsexual, eventually he will manifest that into what the relationship is and you will begin to be unattracted to him. That is what happens if you say it enough. Is there a version where he comes home and you just pounce on him? You're like, I might be the only woman who wants to fuck all the time. Jump on this, but slowly, because the vagina is very tender. All you can do is continue to show him, because men are very action-based, show him how attracted you are to him, but he's going to have to get out of his own way at some point. Maybe talk about that with the therapist. That's a bummer, though. Maybe you could just like start touching yourself and be like, you want to join me? You also don't have to have sex to be sexual. Any good pastor will tell you that. Maybe do a dance for him. I think every girl at some point has tried to like do like a sexy dance. Oh my God, I've done that. Oh God. I'm so drunk. Like sit on this kitchen bench and let me rock your world. That's awful. Oh, it's so embarrassing. Oh, just the moves. Put on like an Usher song. You're like, check this out. While I'm dancing to like Danish techno. I'm like, check this out. Look at this body. You want this? You can't have it. Just kidding. Yes, you can. You know what no one wants is a lap dance from their wife. Nobody wants a lap dance from like a long-term girlfriend. It's like, cool, gonna have sex. I remember one time, Noah and I had sex and I like said something after, like right after. And I was like, okay. And like he didn't respond. I was like, are you not turned on by me? He's like, Eliza, I literally just had sex with you. Like I'm completely empty. That's a bummer though. I'm sorry. Maybe you could have it both ways. Maybe you could just make out with your hot boyfriend and you get like hall passes to go have sex with dudes until he's ready.
No.
Okay.
Okay, we do have a follow-up.
If I didn't, you know what? As with all these, if I don't give you perfect life advice, I hope I made you laugh. Or think or pause this to go get a snack.
Okay. Do you remember?
What is your problem? I'm giving hot diarrhea.
Do you remember the one who was getting married? Her friend of 10 years, maid of honor, texted her via her husband and was like, I don't like the pastor.
Yes. And we thought the pastor,
police.
We made up that the pastor hated gay people.
Okay. So love that you guys answered my question. Here's some clarification for you.
Do you want to recap it for the people listening?
They better remember. But yeah, okay. So
highlight.
This person is
take
getting
out all
married.
the articles and verbs. Person. Wedding.
Her best friend of 10 years and her maid of honor had her husband text this woman's fiance saying like, actually, we're not friends. I'm not your maid of honor. And then when this woman went to her house to be like, what is going on?
You're my best friend. Why are you not coming to my wedding?
She called the police on her.
She called the police on her. And then the friend's like, I want you at my wedding. And the girl was like, we don't like your pastor. And so we here at Ask Eliza Anything, we were like, what happened with that pastor? We made up that like someone over there is gay and maybe he's like homophobic, or did he sleep with her, or did he touch someone? So we were like, what happened with the pastor that this friend feels so strongly about him that she's bowing out of your wedding and not even telling you? Here's the update.
Okay.
Emily, over to you, Emily.
Here's some clarification.
Thanks, Eliza.
Thanks, Eliza. Here's the weather.
No problem, Emily.
How much do we have to say each other's names?
It's the news.
Okay.
Emily Vasquez.
My pastor is definitely not homophobic. He wouldn't be my pastor if he was.
Okay, so that's homophobic. That's what people who are homophobic say. Definitely not homophobic.
He and his wife are amazing humans.
Is his wife a dude? Because that's the only way to prove you're not homophobic.
Genuinely care about the people who attend the church and are always there if you need a shoulder to cry on. He preaches love.
Or a penis to sit on. Aha!
He preaches love and is welcoming to any and everyone. The problem my now ex-maid of honor has with him is that she doesn't agree with the way he runs the business side of the church.
Okay.
She thinks the pastor makes too much money.
Oh.
He and his wife make less than $100K. They have 2 kids, an average house, and average cars, so I don't agree with her on this. She was his assistant for a while. They have never dated and found out what everyone was being paid and thought some people weren't being paid enough. Minimum wage here is $7.25, and everyone makes well above that for reference. And her biggest
Where are
problem,
you living? 1998?
And her biggest problem with him is that when they told him they were leaving the church, he didn't chase them. I told her.
I love that.
Yeah, I told her that based on what she has said, anything she thinks he's done is forgivable. He's not embezzling or living extravagantly while everyone else suffers. So I didn't think it was a big deal. We ended this 2-hour one-sided conversation with her saying she wasn't going to let this affect her presence at the wedding. And then 2 months later, here we are. Sorry, this is so much. Just finding to have all the info to clear things up. This is, love you all. This is crazy because so she was his assistant.
She knows something. She knows something
Or
she's
a maniac. Maybe she was in love with him and he like rebuffed her.
Wait a minute. By the way, do you love how you and I made up a whole world where this guy's like homophobic
well,
and all this
because that had been that had happened with a couple different celebrities.
Well, I think you're talking about like Justin Bieber, but I think it's also like we made up like all this awful stuff. It's like, nope, she just doesn't like his books. I don't know. Part of me is like, does she, as an assistant to a pastor, like, do you have enough info to make that call? Had people complained, and also like everybody's there on their own volition, as you were.
Right. And it's like, yeah, I mean, so they were making above minimum wage, but let's say they were making minimum
Who else
wage.
Is they? Like a church cleaner? Like what else? Who else works there?
And the fact that it's like, yeah, some churches do. There are big churches in
Yes.
Atlanta where the pastors are like billionaires and they
it's
roll
not
up in
just
their
Atlanta.
Rolls Royce. But there's big, and I
This
think of
doesn't
the
sound
ones
like a
where-
mega church.
No, it's not. It doesn't sound like when this person has a normal house, under 100,000 for a family of 4 is
Did she like ask for a raise and she didn't get it? I'm also like, a lot of church or religious stuff is like volunteer based. So like, what should a Sunday school teacher be making? What should your altar candle cleaner be? I don't even know who else works at a church. There's no nuns at a regular church. That's another, what you should do if you really want to gauge if she's crazy, be like, what should they make? And if her answer is like bonkers,
it just is.
that's such a weird line to take. I feel like she knows something else. Or she thinks that's the worst, is when someone's stupid and they think they know something and they don't. We did some internet sleuthing and we found out where your church is. And I don't mean this to be insulting, but based off the, not so much context clues as the website, which is actually a very nice website, but where your church is located, this is not a mega church. This is not even a nice church. And I say that in that it's not like a big, new, huge building. This really, look, I really don't know anything about churches, but this really seems like a very like outreach-based, community-based type thing. Now, maybe your pastor is a crazy person secretly, but it really, nothing about this feels like there's only Mercedes parked in the front and it's in like a brand new building. So just because we looked where it is, next to Mega Blast Laser Tag Arcade. Come worship and blast away some enemies. Here's the truth. Your wedding is about you. It's not about the pastor. The pastor is there for 20 minutes, right? Unless you're doing like a really long religious boring service. It's about you and your fiance coming together and your friend being there for you on that day and getting ready and the dress and the family and all that stuff. If she can't set that aside, and this is all based on like total hearsay about just feelings about the pastor, it's not like she has any concrete evidence, she's not your friend. And I think there's something else going on.
There's something else going on.
There's something else going on because she's letting that, like that's the catalyst for all this, but like she's letting that get in the way. I think you got to say goodbye to this friend. And the way she did it. Moreover, she didn't come to you and say, I don't like this pastor.
Right. She had the conversation with her, I don't like this pastor, but okay, fine. And then 2 months later, was like, never mind, bye forever.
Via text, like from her fiance to your fiance.
Ugh.
It's super weird.
So
She's
weird.
gutless. And the truth is, even if she did come to you, which she didn't say, I don't like this pastor, it's like, who fucking cares?
Who cares?
So she's a bitch. And what you find out when you get married is it is the demarcation in a lot of friendships. Sometimes your wedding is the beginning of like a non-friendship with people. Good riddance. What a fucking flake.
We have another follow-up to
Don't breathe on me. Oh my God, that was such a big exhale. Oh my God.
another follow-up to the woman who has all of the adopted sons. She is white. They are African-American. One of them doesn't believe in BLM.
Oy.
She says, Thank you for discussing my question. I agree with Iliza 9
course
times
you
out of
agree.
10 to just blow it off. Just a side note, most of the comments come from African-American women. My favorite one, which turned into a great lesson of kindness, understanding, and tolerance for my youngest son was, he and I were grocery shopping after one of his baseball games pre-COVID, and an African-American woman came up to us and removed my son's hat from his head. She then proceeded to tell me that if my skin were the right color, I would understand that he should never wear a baseball cap because it would cause him to go bald.
What?
She then proceeded to shame me to say that since my skin wasn't the right color, I obviously had no idea how to braid my son's hair. The day before, I had his hair professionally braided at a Black-owned, run, and operated salon by a Black woman who I'm fairly positive can braid straight cornrows in her sleep. This woman then proceeded to look my son in the face and tell him when he gets older, he can come back to the community he belongs with.
Okay, this is insane.
This is just a maniac.
No, but that's a maniac. And by the way, wearing a hat thins anyone's hair. And if you want an example, look at your husband's calves. You'll notice if he's had a job where he wears a suit, a lot of older men have like no leg hair because of their socks rubbing on there. My mom says that to me, like, don't wear a hat. It'll make you go bald. Emily, you could stand to lose some hair, so it's fine.
I'm working on it.
That woman's just a fucking crazy bigot.
Well, so she says, after she walked away, my son asked me why I didn't correct her with a ridiculous amount of anger, shame, and hurt raging in my gut. I smiled at my son and said, you and I know the truth, and you and I know that our skin doesn't have to match, and you and I know that we're a perfect family. Her opinion of us makes no difference to how we will live.
But also, by the way, here's the counterpoint. Much like people of, a Black woman might not want to be labeled as angry in our society. As a white woman now, the headline will be white woman yells at older Black woman. Like, you will be the one that pays for it, even though that woman was being a crazy person.
Well, it sounds like this person is handling things perfectly. That woman walked away and she had a conversation with her son about what has happened.
If the worst thing that happens to a mixed race family is that some old Black lady is like kind of a B, like, you're getting off easy. Like, if anything, your son, that's just preparing him for a life of that type of scrutiny.
Yeah.
From both sides, from both colors.
Yeah. Love you all, especially Snow Peach. I currently have 2 adopted dogs, and if my fiance wouldn't kill me, I would have more. Last thing, yes, Iliza, you are right. My boys are all teens, and they know everything and are never wrong, even when they are.
You love adopting.
You do.
Love adopting. Look, I do this too, where I like use like the one exception of the one time someone was crazy. By and large, you know what? I saw a video the other day of this woman who, I don't know if she invented it or just bought it, this like thing where if you have a Black daughter, I guess a Black son too, it's like a thing where you can lay down so you can wash the hair in the sink and they can like watch TV. And it was like a device that you put over their head so they can lean their head back in the sink and lay down on the counter and be comfortable. And I clicked on the comments because I was like, oh, it was a white woman, sorry, that had a Black daughter. And the girl's like eating snacks and watching her screen while the mom washes her hair. And I was like, oh God. Because we've lost the ability. Nobody cares about anyone doing anything good. We only want to roast people.
Yeah.
And I clicked on the comments. I was like, this poor woman. All of them were positive. It was all Black women that were like, God, I wish I had that when I was a kid. Wow, I love that she's washing her hair. Wow, what a good mom. You're always going to find total crazy people, but there are more good people than not. And there are plenty of Black people that are fine with it. And there are plenty of white people that are fine with it. And I probably would have let it go too. I think people think I'm the kind of person that would be like, no. And here's what don't give these people your emotional currency.
Yeah.
And congratulations on having 4 all-knowing teenage sons. The smartest country is run by teenagers. That kind of is.
Hi, Liz and crew. I'm going to be 30 this year, and I'm turning 30, and my life needs to be an order thought process. My main concern lately is on my spending habits. I'm blessed that my husband and I do not struggle financially. He's in the military, and I am working my dream job. However, I've always been one to just buy whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. Now, as I age, I think about how I need to make sure I have savings outside of just my retirement, and how my student loans will go into repayment soon, and my husband will be leaving the military soon. Yeah, right now student loans are like on a hiatus.
Just get rid of them.
What are some tips and tricks to just tell yourself to stop buying things just because you want them? My spending stresses my husband out. I just want us to be stress-free and happy with what we have and happy with the material things I have. I feel like it should be just a simple thing to say no, but also shopping is how I've always cheered myself up with my depression, so now it's almost an addiction.
Okay, first of all, we shop to fill a void. And weirdly, everybody likes shopping. It doesn't have to be like shopping, spending spree for clothes. Like everybody likes buying new things. First of all, if you want to make yourself sad, you can think about how you're contributing to waste. and how, especially as Americans, like everything's got to be new. We don't fix anything. I follow a lot of like eco sites that show like how to fix things or why we should reuse things. I think deep down, and I noticed lately, I like go online at night and I load up an Etsy cart, and I don't ever buy the stuff, but I find the act of just loading things up is very soothing. And you see all those like TikTok videos of like top 4 things you need on Amazon. It's all crap. When you deep down think about what you actually need, the answer is I'm bored. Nobody's shopping if you're exhausted from work, exhausted from working out in a good way, feeling fulfilled, reading a book, stimulated. Read more books, first of all. Do more things around the house, like physical things. Because I find myself, even though I work really hard with like, sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to watch anything on TV. And what do? I think it has to do with anxiety. I think it has to do with boredom.
It's fun to get things in the mail.
It's fun to get things in the mail. You are contributing to things that go into a landfill.
Yeah.
If you really take stock, I would first I would purge your house of everything you don't need. And I don't mean throw it away. Take it to the appropriate places. Like really earn if you're buying something else, and maybe make it like a reward. Like every Sunday I get to buy something versus every night. But I think it has more to do with, because I go through the same thing with not feeling like you really did that day. I think that's what it is, at least for me. You also might want to meet with a financial planner and set up a Roth IRA so you can start contributing to your future. Don't take on everything at once.
My financial planner just had a baby.
Okay. Why would you tell anybody that? Like, what does that have to do with anything? Go on. Tell us.
I just thought it was nice.
You just had a neuron bridge and you were like, financial planner, baby. I know that.
I know a fact.
I think you should get to the root of what that is. There's nothing wrong with shopping. Also, it's excusable because it's been Corona and we've all just been stuck, and you can't just go to a shop like you would. But I lately have been like, I actually don't need anything. Like, I don't need another candle. I don't need another Palo Santo stick. I don't need clothes. Like, really taking stock of it. Maybe sit down and look at all your finances, and maybe you do have extra money to spend and it's okay. You know, maybe contributing to like home repairs or improvements versus like buying another piece of plastic off Amazon. That's what I think.
Yeah.
But I also, for everything you buy, I would look at ways to give things away or donate things. So you don't feel so bad about it, because you don't want to just be spending. It is filling a void. And I don't know what that is for you. What? Because I shut down your...
No, I just yawned really hard and
Oh my
it hurt
God.
me. You know when you yawn and it makes you tear up?
That's not hurting. That's not pain. That's tears. Because you yawned. Are you having a stroke?
Maybe. Are you ready for top of the
We're making a podcast. You can't just do an energy plunge like that. God, am I supposed to just carry everything?
You don't want my thoughts on keeping things in your home.
Nobody asked for that. Nobody wants to hear about that. Nobody hear about my diaper collection.
I will say, I wonder if the energy that you spend, like where you're like, okay, I have extra money, I can go on and buy something. Like if you do set up an account, an IRA or whatever, or a savings account that transfers automatically, like being able to carve out an extra $100 that you put somewhere else, like then you're like moving the money around, like you're doing something, you're like taking it, you're going, okay, I'm taking that and putting it here.
It's the moving of the money that feels so good.
Where you're like, I'm changing something, I'm doing something. So like if you were like, now let's say you spend $100 on random garbage from Amazon. If you make it a goal to put $100 into a savings account every month or an IRA or whatever, like there's still that shift in what's happening. And I think there'll be like a notice, like being able to see that change happen in the same way that you see like the package come to your door.
You know what? That's great advice that you could have said when you said your financial planner was having a baby. Like that's interesting.
He already had the baby. It's born.
He did not have a baby. Or you know what? Maybe he did. I like that. I also, maybe you got it like that and you have extra money, pick a trip or something you're saving up for. Like something, because what you don't want to do is you get out of this and you're like, oh my God, I bought all these fucking Amazon plastic do-it-yourself lip kits and now I can't pay off my student loan. That's going to suck. So I would sit down with a financial planner.
Yeah.
And what's going to be tough is if he's like, yeah, you've got $30,000 to spare. Well, let's put it into an account, a high yield, low risk. No
Figure out what you can do with it. But the other thing is, if you think about it in terms of like, okay, again, let's say Amazon, you're buying what'd you say, a DIY lip kit, and it's $40. How many hours of work is that? So instead of thinking it's $40, it's 4 hours of my day that I spent to get that lip kit, and things will either become more valuable or it won't matter.
Also, adhere to this, and I think about this all the time. Everything is trash. Everything is poorly made. Everything's a fucking scam. Kick it.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the cob.
My top of the cob is this. Haters can't get me. I've hired a company that scans my social media, and anything that is offensive, containing like hate language or aimed at hurting me or just trolling me, just being shitty, they remove it from my purview.
What will my job be?
From my comment section. So I just want people to know, like, the thing, like when a guy flashes someone, like what the thrill is the guy gets off on the woman being like, ew, oh my God. Like certain people get off on the fact that they got you. If someone's commenting like live on Don't Panic Pantry or in my comment something awful and I engage, then they feel like they won. So you will see, if you are a horrible person with no life of your own, who's obviously jealous, your comments will start to be erased and I will have never seen them. And I love that. I love that you're just screaming in the dark, hoping that I saw it, but the answer is I didn't.
Those people are not listening to this show.
No, but they should just know that, like, that's what it is. I'm putting it out there. So you're not going to get me because I never saw it and you suck. Your turn.
My top of the cob is that PlayStation Plus is a monthly service where you can play video games online with people, but also they give you a free video game each month. And mostly it's a video game I don't care about. But the game for February was very fun. And I downloaded it and I was just like, I've been so busy. I've been doing so much work. I haven't got a new video game in a long time.
Totally.
So I downloaded it and it's so fun and I'm so into it. And I made my dad download it too.
Great.
And
you're going to say the game name?
Yeah, it's called Control. And
With a
you're...
K?
No, with a C.
Okay.
And you have power. I throw garbage at people. Not garbage, but like I can take a chunk off the wall and throw it at a bad guy.
Okay.
And I can levitate. And it's very calming.
That's great.
I stopped a fridge that was mean.
Okay. You need to blink when you look at me.
I was waiting for you to stop me because you don't like when I talk about things that don't interest you.
I was trying to give you a chance.
I didn't know
failed.
that was going to happen.
You weren't prepared for it. My bottom of the cob is, people aren't going to like this, but I'm going to say it.
Oh, no.
The online commodification of mental wellness and mental health. I am not someone that deals with mental health issues, but I can't tell you that people don't enjoy this, but my feed, and I don't know why, maybe because I don't know, is all just like women with like 5,000 followers doing these things that are like the real song, like where they point to the air and words show up. They're like, you are not responsible for others' feelings, emotional well-being. Have a great day. And everybody acts like I'm just here. Hey guys, I'm stopping in without a bra on doing a jiggle dance to let you know you're kicking ass. I'm like, no, you're fucking not. You're stopping in to get a like and convert that to money. That's what you're doing. It's up there with like all like the self-help gurus. Like everything's a scam. This is going to be in my new book. I'm trying to make money off you. Stopping by to let you know you are enough. No, you're stopping by to show me how hot you look and you're hoping total strangers will say that. There are therapists and then there are just like mental health gurus. And I just think it's all such bullshit. Like, hey, if you need to know today that you're doing okay. No. I don't need a random person in cutoffs letting me know with like their perfect hair, like you're doing okay. Fuck you.
There's a real like recurring thing on Twitter of this where it'll be like, hey, stop scrolling,
yes.
Drink water, tell yourself you love yourself, keep scrolling. Here's a little spot for you to rest in your Twitter feed. I don't know that. Get out of here. Who are you?
None of it is a thing. And
Just
you're
know-
that fragile, like you need, like that cannot be our diagnosis. Just someone being like, I'm just stopping by to let you know you're a powerful hoe. You're a badass bitch. First of all, I don't call myself a bitch. I don't find it funny. I don't find it's just like not my favorite thing. I don't get my power from you do get your power from random strangers on the internet telling you doing great because that's what social media is. But it is a self-serving post almost 100% of the time. Stopping by to let you know with a filter on so you can't see any imperfections. Your imperfections are your superpower. I'm like, cool, take your filter off. Fucking liars. What's wrong with you? Go ahead.
My bottom of the cup is that there is a sound in my home that I can't hear that is picked up on my podcast recordings that happen in my home. And it is at such a low level. You can't hear it when you're recording. I go back to edit and it is just intermittent throughout. It is not a technological issue. I have tried it with multiple different pieces of technology. I have consulted Scott outside of Iliza hours and been like, Scott, am I insane? What is this sound? There is something happening coming from the ground or an electronic.
It's like a high pitch. Like
No, it's like a low, like it's like a hum underneath everything, but it's not, let's say it's a 45-minute file. It's not 45 minutes of hum. It's like 10 minutes in, hum will happen for 12 minutes and then no hum and then hum for 15 more minutes.
you're starting to sound like one of those people that thinks they have blue strings in their skin.
Oh, I know, but it's truly like, and it's not like I was like, is it the Zoom? No. Is it this? No. Is it this? And it just isn't. I can't figure out what it is. I can't figure out the pattern. I can't figure out.
You think it's in your computer?
No, I think it's because it happens when I record on a Zoom like this, no computer, and it happens when I record with a mic
You're
in my
picking up
computer.
like a frequency from like a power line,
From, like,
which
yes.
I guarantee is outside of where
yes,
you live.
from something that's happening, but I can't. But
You got to go into your neighbor's house and see what they got in there.
something is happening.
Yeah.
It's messing up. It makes my recordings sound bad, and I can't do anything about it.
Have you turned off everything in your house?
I've sat in different areas. I've pointed the mic at different. I've done it without the mic.
Does
I've
it
done it
always
with the
occur
computer.
in a certain area?
No.
It's a power line or something coming. Someone's got a
But it's-
microwave open in another building.
And it's like new within the last 6 months. And it's driving me insane because I can run some filtering on it.
You
But
got to get one of those. You got to get like a sonophone or something. You got to get like a sonar.
and find it.
I'm sorry. All right, take it easy. I'm never going to your house, but I'm sorry that's happening to you.
You're not a little curious, like
I'm telling you, it's
if
something
you
from your
came-
neighbor.
No,
It's
I
like
mean,
a fluorescent light bulb or
about
something.
coming into my house. You're not a little curious about what's happening in there.
About my greatest fears being proved true? No. I also have another top of the cob.
Okay.
I power watch it. There's only 6 episodes. It's on HBO Max. It's called It's a Sin. It's a show about the 80s in London when the AIDS epidemic hit, and it follows the lives of this like group of friends. It's all gay guys and then one girl that's like the mother of the group. And it looks like the pictures make it look like it's going to be like a cool, sexy sitcom about these like 5 gay singles, and it's not. But it's really well done, super unique, very sad, and really speaks to this epidemic that like nobody took seriously until they did, and how it wiped out an entire generation of gay men. And how like not that long ago in London, like gay men couldn't own property. What?
Angia Karanji.
Okay. So It's a Sin.
Oh.
It's a good show.
Look, are these British people?
They're very, one's Welsh, and it is the weirdest accent you've ever
Yeah,
heard.
this art is so like fun.
Yeah, you watch because it's gay, so it's fun, and this guy makes a great point about like how fun the lifestyle is. Anyways, give it a watch because it's a really unique show. The Welsh guy's voice is so weird, and there's this line in 30 Rock where she looks at someone, which I also watch every night, and she like goes to make fun of him for like being from another country. He goes, "Oh, I'm not from another country. I'm from New Jersey. I'm just a weirdo." And it's exactly how the Welsh guy sounds. I'm just enjoying myself. Sad show, beautiful show, great show.
Okay. Great.
See you in 7 days' time.
It sounds like a ring curse.
Kablam!
High Five Casino lets you play your favorite slot and live table games like blackjack with the chance to redeem for real cash prizes. High Five Casino has a giant selection of over 1,200 games, including hundreds of exclusive games only found on High Five Casino. It's always free to play, and free coins are given out every 4 hours. Ready to have your own high five moment? Visit highfivecasino.com. That's high, the number 5, casino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply.